Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace. If any be unhappy, let him remember that he is unhappy by reason of himself alone. For God hath made all men to enjoy felicity and constancy of good. Difficulty shows what men are. A guide on finding a man who has lost his way brings him back to the right path. He does not mock and jeer at him and then take himself off. You also must show the unlearned man the truth, and you will see that he will follow. But so long as you do not show it him, you should not mock, but rather feel your own incapacity. When a youth was giving himself airs in the theater and saying, "I am wise, for I have conversed with many wise men," Epictetus replied, "I too have conversed with many rich men, yet I am not rich." If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things. Don't wish to be thought to know anything. Even if you appear to be somebody important to others, distrust yourself. It is more necessary for the soul to be cured than the body, for it is better to die than to live badly. Imagine for yourself a character, a model personality, whose example you determine to follow in private as well as in public. Whoever is going to listen to the philosophers need a considerable practice in listening. There is but one way to tranquility of mind and happiness, and that is to account no external things thine own, but to commit all to God. If you wish to be good, first believe that you are bad. Do not try to seem wise to others. If you want to live a wise life, live it on your own terms and in your own eyes. It is better to do wrong seldom and to own it and to act right for the most part than seldom to admit that you have done wrong and to do wrong often. Is freedom anything else than the right to live as we wish? Nothing else. Epictetus, being asked how a man should give pain to his enemy, answered, by preparing himself to live the best life that he can. We must not believe the many who say that only free people ought to be educated, but we should rather believe the philosophers who say that only the educated are free. Do not afflict others with anything that you yourself would not wish to suffer. If you would not like to be a slave, make sure no one is your slave. If you have slaves, you yourself are the greatest slave, for just as freedom is incompatible with slavery, so goodness is incompatible with hypocrisy. We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. Don't live by your own rules, but in harmony with nature. The essence of philosophy is that a man should so live that his happiness shall depend as little as possible on external things. Who then is invincible? The one who cannot be upset by anything outside their reasoned choice. Men are disturbed not by the things that happen, but by their opinion of the things that happen. What concerns me is not the way things are, but the way people think things are. If you seek truth, you will not seek to gain a victory by every possible means, and when you have found truth, you need not fear being defeated. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Sickness is a problem for the body, not the mind, unless the mind decides that it is a problem. Lameness, too, is the body's problem, not the mind's. Say this to yourself, whatever the circumstance, and you will find without fail that the problem pertains to something else, not to you. In banquets, remember that you entertain two guests, body and soul, and whatever you shall have given to the body you soon eject, but what you shall be given to the soul you keep always. Don't put your purpose in one place and expect to see progress made somewhere else. These reasonings do not cohere. I am richer than you. These reasonings do not cohere. I am richer than you, therefore I am better than you. I am more eloquent than you, therefore I am better than you. On the contrary, these rather cohere. I am richer than you, therefore my possessions are greater than yours. I am more eloquent than you, therefore my speech is superior to yours. But you are neither possession nor speech. So what oppresses and scares us? It is our thoughts, obviously. What overwhelms people when they are about to leave friends, family, old haunts, and their accustomed way of life? Thoughts. If they are wise, do not quarrel with them. If they are fools, ignore them. Man, what are you talking about? Me in chains? You may fetter my leg, but my will not even Zeus himself can overpower. As the sun does not wait for prayers and incantations to be induced to rise, but immediately shines and is saluted by all, so do you also not wait for clapping of hands and shouts of praise to be induced to do good, but be a doer of good voluntarily, and you will be beloved as much as the sun. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Neither should a ship rely on one small anchor, nor should life rest on a single hope. Those who are well constituted in the body endure both heat and cold, and so those who are well constituted in the soul endure both anger and grief and excessive joy and the other effects. Do not get too attached to life, for it is like a sailor's leave on the shore, and at any time the captain may sound the horn, calling you back to eternal darkness. Very little is needed for everything to be upset and ruined, only a slight lapse in reason. Men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinion about the things. Remind thyself that he whom thou lovest is mortal, that what thou lovest is not thine own. It is given thee for the present, not irrevocably nor forever, but even as a fig or a bunch of grapes at the appointed season of the year. A city is not adorned by external things, but by the virtue of those who dwell in it. As a man casting off worn-out garments taketh new ones, so the dweller in the body entereth into ones that are new. There is no shame in making an honest effort. The philosopher's school, ye men, is a surgery. You ought not to go out of it with pleasure, but with pain, for you are not in sound health when you enter. We are at the mercy of whoever wields authority over the things we either desire or detest. If you would be free, then do not wish to have or avoid things that other people control, because then you must serve as their slave. Everyone's life is a warfare, and that long and various.